number of us have moved into the cheap option of Android. Um, some of the medical applications cannot be accessed or downloaded using the Symbian platform. So I wanted to know if you are going perhaps to consider concentrating or maybe providing platforms where we can get our softwares. Although we are a small market, I know the medical practitioners are few, but we also do use most of the time the high-end type of phones, the Symbian 60 and the rest.
So clearly, a number of you have alluded to Android devices starting to become popular here, and JP also said that clearly is a big opportunity. The whole app ecosystem is just now at the verge of starting to happen locally in many countries, like Kenya and other places. So we can clearly see that now that interest is coming, and like we said, we have a plan to address that. At the same time, if you look at the number of people who are using devices today and where your immediate opportunity to distribute your application is today, clearly, Nokia market share is very strong, and from that point of view, the maximum reach that you can get today is on Nokia devices. Going forward, we foresee that local applications will be a very big opportunity in every market, and looking forward to seeing all of your applications also in our platforms. Peter Skillman is over there. I mentioned him earlier, the user experience lead. We spoke of you while you were away.
Yeah, sorry, I had a request. So anyway, is there a question I can answer?
We were just talking about, developers.
How to support the developer so that the apps have a great UX to complement the device.
Yeah, that's something I'm really
Peter, why don't you
passionate
also
about.
introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Peter Skillman. I'm head of UX for mobile phones, and just recently finished the N9 UX. Some of you may have seen, something we're really excited about. And I think the key to delivering a great experience for developers is manyfold, because what developers want is they want something that's cool, they want something that has scale, and they want to be able to make money. Those three things are really important to deliver on. And so what's important is communicating how you make a great application. So part of that is in making really rich UX guidelines that explain how to make a great application. And so get your pens out. I'm going to give you a URL to go to. You can actually Google the N9 UX guidelines. We have a website that's up that explains all those patterns and how you go about creating a great application. But that's just one piece of it, because the next part of it is that also how you reach out to the community, how you help make the tools really accessible, what is the integrated development environment, or the IDE, how does the emulator work in the simulator, and how do you build applications and actually make the software creation and the compiling and debugging and that very, very painless. So I think it's a number of elements. It's about creating that draw through scale, and then a great set of tools that make it really easy to develop for.
My name is Fred, and I'm an independent developer, I'm student. I have two questions. First of all, it has been noted with keen interest that corporations like yours, Google, and the other big ones, Apple, they're not keen on embracing software unless it is customized for their market. What I mean is that you have to develop an application that has to be deployed on the Nokia software environment so that Nokia can market it for you. You cannot develop an open application, let's say, for all the platforms. Let's say you develop an application for the Android store, then Nokia funds you. It can't happen. You first have to develop an application that can be loaded onto the App Store, or the App Store, so that you can fund it or you have interest about it. So could you address that issue? And the second question is, why is it that we have also noted that, like, as developers, you note that most people, even the independent companies, most of them usually develop their software as J2Me's so that they can be easily deployed from their own servers. Like if you, let's say you visit most of the technological companies in Kenya, you'll realize that most of them have a direct link to their J2Me applications rather than loading them onto your app store so that they can be downloaded by users. What is the danger of doing such a thing? Or is it advisable just having your own application, putting it on your server, and asking guys to download it from there?
So if I start with the first question, so as an app developer and as a maybe providing a service, an app is a way to reach your consumers. There's a decision that you have to make in how broad do you want to reach and how much do you want to invest. And the simplest way is to build a very simple website for mobile browsers, and then you can reach almost every device in the world that has a data package. And then you can start optimizing more, you can make it a little richer. Some devices can't serve it well, others can't serve it well. We have the Nokia browser, which allows consumers to reach relatively rich websites with a very affordable way. But at some point in time, there comes the stage where you want to say, I want to develop more functionality, I want to embed more into the device, and then at some point in time you cross the boundary where you have to go into the details of each platform. And building on what I said earlier, right now, the web as a platform gives you a relatively broad reach, both in terms of websites and applications you build with those technologies. But at some point in time, you just have to cross into the platform specifics.
My name is Kimunya, no relation. And I'm probably one of the non-techies around here. I'm a scientist first, then a communicator next, and I head communications for Eastern and Southern Africa for an organization called WWF, no relations again. This is the Global Conservation Organization. And Nokia is all about connecting people. WWF is all about people living in harmony with nature. And if we look at what is affecting us right now, it's everything to do with the environment. And that basically affects the way we do business. It affects our bottom line. But the one thing that I've not seen happening is developers and organizations like ourselves working together to empower rural communities to become owners of their own destiny. And what do I mean by this? There's some wonderful projects going on out in very remote areas. Communities coming together to manage their own water resources and having roles and responsibilities. And actually some parts of those communities paying back others for services rendered to make sure that the rivers flow, the quality of the water is good. But how do we get these people to own the process of either having a repository where they can upload data, where they can monitor how they're working, how the environment is working, and also upload this to a global scale to other areas where similar situations are happening. And just for your information, WWF works in over 100 countries. So what can be developed here, adapted here, can be used in another part of the globe.
My name is Jussi Ikkanen, responsible for corporate relations in Middle East and Africa. And what I can say is that Nokia actually has already a global partnership with WWF. So we have quite a big framework program going on where we actually collaborate with you guys for coming up with innovative applications and content in the space of environmental conservation. I think that maybe the second point what I would like to raise is that many people don't know that, but Nokia has been one of the pioneers in sustainability, whether it comes to energy consumption or whether it comes to recycling the components. And today, for every device that we launch is 100% recyclable from recyclable material. But then maybe to the content application, the content that you were referring to, I think that's what we can do. We can just exchange contacts, and I'm sure that we can then discuss with also the global team that has been building the framework with you guys. So I'm sure we can build something. Thank you.
Let me add to that one a little bit the kind of the importance of rural, and this is not only now in Africa but equally in India and elsewhere. And we get sometimes asked, and from the ruthless Wall Street analysts even, when they ask, why you Nokia? I mean, why do you focus so much on these kind of rural markets and reaching out to the kind of to the places in the countries where it's hard to go? It's laborious. I mean, distribution is hard, care is hard. Why do you do that? Why don't you just sell the, the fancy, rich consumer stuff. And the reason is that we genuinely believe that we are in the beginning of what is happening in this industry. I may have to be here another 16 years that we are in the situation that that person in that rural is actually owning a smartphone. But that journey starts from somewhere. It starts from the very first device, the voice phone. After that, the person gets the new one and a new one and a new one. So we are in this for the long haul. And that explains our continuous focus on not just the urban, but also on rural.
Yeah, I have something to share with you as well. I'm finding that that there is a big trend amongst youth today where they are not political in the way that they want to, become get a seat in the city council or something like that. But I see a huge trend in many emerging markets where youth actually want to impact things like the ones you were mentioning. They may want to get their friends together to say, let's go and fix the football court and do something about it, or let's do something like this. So I think that this is an important thing, which I think you want to address to your colleagues here. So it's not just, Nokia and WWF doing something at the top level. I think there's a huge amount of applications that we can think of in terms of social behavior, where people are mobilizing their friends, where they may want to do things in an almost anonymous manner, but gather big groups of people to do something for a better good. So I do encourage this discussion to happen amongst yourselves as well, that what is it that could be developed together?
Most of us are from public universities or local universities in Kenya, and they talked to the universities and came up with a curriculum for training students on how they operate, and so that when students come out of the universities are well on to be able to come into the organization. So I was wondering, does not have such an initiative such that we can be able to engage people from maybe from the first year of study, so that we become developers, so that we can increase developer base here in Kenya? Because I also believe that developers are a very good way of communicating to the end users about what is going on. Most of the people know about product from developers. So if you increase the developer base, then you definitely increase our customer base. And
I think this is a point you see emphasized earlier, that they're actually starting training on user experience research at the University of Nairobi.
Yes.
But what I'd like to emphasize is that take this out of the university and bring it to the community, to the technology community. Have the trainings here at the iHub, at the M Lab, for example. The students currently in session could have a week of user experience training. That's what I encourage. And with that, we'll have one more question from the floor, and then I will invite Kenneth Oyola, the General Manager of Sub-Saharan Africa, to give the closing word. One more question from the ground, from the floor.
My name is Sigeni from mamamikes.com. We're a gifting website used by Kenyans living abroad. My question is about the popular Nokia apps that we can find in the hobby store. Could you recommend some apps that we could go look at, test, and play around with, some that you use yourselves, or some that you're familiar with that we could go around and find use?
One really good example, which was recently published in Obistore, is the WhatsApp. So the chat client we have. It's a really neat implementation, and it shows the capability you also have in S40. Then I think, social networking, other social networking implementations are pretty good there. And there are also very nice Java games, so this is more on the complex side. And if you want to really see how to mobilize your internet sites in a very simple way, referring to what Sebastian said before about, using standard internet technologies for developing the app, I think you can also look at specific web apps there, which run within the Nokia browser and makes it very, very simple to discover internet content. So these are the two ways I would look at.
Don't be shy, your team developed a really great Twitter app, which is a good example.
Yeah, probably that one.
To follow up on your question, I'm just going to, what I use might not be the best, but For Twitter, I use Gravity on Symbian, which for me is the best, works for me. I've got an app, a local app called Mchongwano. So if you follow me on Twitter and you see me unleashing very hot jokes, they're not original, they're from Mchongwano, they're updated, kind of like crowdsourced, yeah. But the other one that I use is there's an advanced battery saver. Like right now I've got 1 bar, then I've got 3 more hours of action before I get back to charge. So when I do that, it literally closes down the apps that I don't need. When I go to London, which is once every blue moon, twice a year or so, I've got a tube map. So when I land in London and I'm not used to it, I literally have the tube maps that are being handed out on my phone. And literally it plans your journey, like where I am and where do I want to go through. It tells you how to connect, but maybe that's a little bit remote. The Daily Nation is on Ovisto. The other one, which is on Ovisto, is CIO, for those of you who read CIO. I could go really on and on. The one that I discovered last week is Taxi Kenya. So if I click onto it and I want to know a reputable taxi, I should be able to get it. We've got M-Kiosk, we've got Around Me by a local developer called James Mwai. I mean, I could go on and on. Let's chat after this, but for those are ones that I've actually used. I'm not just reading off a list. I use them, I like them, and they keep getting better. Like, I'm waiting for James Mwai. I asked him last week when he's having the latest update to the app, which coincidentally, Mary has been downloaded over 200,000 times. He told me he's doing an upgrade, so I should be able to look out for it on Ovisto pretty soon. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I just wanted to bring this to a close. I'm really grateful for the Nokia Global team who are here with us this week to really learn and understand and listen to us. We visited consumers from Kibera. We went to the trade downtown and we saw the counterfeit issues, and we are really addressing that and looking for better and ingenious ways. So thank you to the Nokia team and to the iHub who have been very, very gracious to Nokia in all the times that we've been here. Really, really thank you. We don't take it for granted that you stop doing what you're doing to come and listen to us. We really appreciate, and we're in this together. Thank you very much, and we look forward to engaging really more in the future. I think we'll hang around for a few more minutes. If there are any pressing questions that could be answered in the forum, we're happy to take them on. But thank you very much, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
How's your visit? It was interesting. It was a